Chair, we're now live.
Thank you. A warm welcome to everyone attending the meeting this morning. My name is Councillor Becky Haggart and I'm Chair of this meeting. Details of the business to be considered today are shown on the agenda. Fire alarm. We are not expecting a fire drill, so if the fire alarm does go off, please follow officers to the fire exits and out of the building to the designated meeting points. Mobile devices, please ensure for those in the room that they are all switched off before the meeting starts or placed on silent. Declarations of interest. Councillors, if you have a declaration of interest to make in relation to today's agenda, please ensure that you state whether it is pecuniary or non-pecuniary and give the reason for your interest. Members need not declare an interest if any item on the agenda where they have already listed this on the register of interest. Furthermore, you do not need to declare an interest just because you are a ward councillor or because you are a governor. Before we move on to the formal agenda, I'd just like to go around the room and introduce ourselves. So I'm the Chair, Councillor Becky Haggart, and then over to my right.
Good morning, my name is Chantal McLeod. I'm the Legal Officer for today's subcommittee.
Good morning, I'm Councillor Nelson West, member of this committee.
Good morning, I'm Councillor Susan O'Brien. I'm here today in opposition of the petition.
Good morning, I'm Mohammed Mudassar Naziri, the applicant.
Good morning, Austin Young, Licensing Officer.
And good morning, I'm Liz Penny, Democratic Services Officer.
Thank you very much, everyone. Just to remind you, if you are speaking, do press the red button if you want to speak, and obviously please take off the red button as well when you are not speaking. The agenda today you have got in front of you, but just to go through it for everyone, first of all we will hear from the regulatory officers, then the applicant, which is yourself, then any officer who has submitted a representation. We have that in writing today. Then residents and our local councillor, Councillor Susan O'Brien, so welcome, thank you. And then we will be led to discussion. So we are today hearing the licence application for a new temporary street trading licence to Europa Furniture. And I will now hand over to Austin Young.
Thank you, Chair. Ooh.
Yes, sorry, I do apologise. I forgot to apologise. So, apologies.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, apologies have been received from Councillor Ahmed Wallana today. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to also say that everything is in public and part 1. Thank you. Over to you, Austin.
Thank you, Chair. Morning all. As mentioned, the subcommittee is today asked to consider an application for a new temporary street trading shopfront licence under the London Local Authorities Act 1990 in respect of Europa Furniture, 77 Victoria Road, Ruislip. I've realised that the introductory paragraph of the agenda under the summary makes reference to the application being for a street trading pitch licence. For the avoidance of doubt, I do wish to confirm this is an application for a shopfront display, which is mentioned later in the report. It's just I picked up that one reference to pitch under the summary. The applicant for licence is Mohammed Mudassar Naziri, who is present today. The application did initially attract 2 representations raising concerns over the application, being submitted by Councillor O'Brien and the Council's Street Scene Enforcement Team, or SSET as I refer to them. SSET did advise that they wanted to attend today, but I was notified yesterday afternoon that due to unforeseen circumstances they would now not be able to attend today. They have supplied an email summarising their comments due to the short notice, which I forwarded to Democratic Services. I would ask the subcommittee if they were happy to have their comments read out for consideration and for the record. The subcommittee can still consider the submissions put before them, but obviously this does mean there's no opportunity to ask questions of the team or for them to expand upon their concerns outside of what they've submitted in writing. The application is for a new licence to allow display of certain commodities on the highway outside of the premises, with the proposed licence area extending 2 metres from the shopfront. The items for display are named in the application as being mattresses, single divan boxes, runners being floor coverings, chest of drawers and coat stands, as confirmed at paragraph 3.4 of the agenda on page 4. Objections to this application were only received from Councillor O'Brien and SSET. The objection from Councillor O'Brien is attached to Appendix 4, covering pages 49 to 56. In addition to their submission to be read out today, SSET's concerns are attached to Appendix 5, page 57. Due to the concerns raised, the applicant was approached to consider varying the proposed application, for example, to see if they were willing to reconsider the items to be displayed, or if there were any conditions which could be agreed to address the concerns. These steps are summarised in the agenda at paragraph 6.2 to 6.7, on which all can be found on page 5, and these can also be seen in the correspondence with Councillor O'Brien in Appendix 4. Unfortunately, since there was no agreement reached between all parties, the matter is now required to come before a subcommittee. To assist in the application and decision process, the Council has published a street trading policy. Officers have recommended relevant sections of the policy, paragraph 7 to 7.9, which covers pages 6 to 9 of the agenda, but for convenience, the full policy can be found at Appendix 3 of the agenda, pages 19 to 47. The policy sets out the possible grounds for refusing an application in terms of both mandatory and discretionary grounds for refusal. For clarity, the mandatory reasons for refusal would be determined at officer level, and there have been no mandatory reasons identified. The policy also lists the number of factors which the subcommittee can take into account when determining the application, which may result in additional bespoke conditions being attached to any licence which may be granted. These factors do include the risk of causing public nuisance, the appearance of the trading area, and the geographical location of the proposed licence area. Such conditions would be in addition to the standard licence conditions imposed by the policy. And the subcommittee does have the power to attach such further conditions as appear to them to be reasonable for any individual case. The policy also acknowledges that it may be appropriate to grant a modified licence, for example with a reduction in the trading hours, trading days, or even the trading area. This demonstrates that the scope of the policy and the subcommittee's powers in determining an application are broad and can be tailored to the individual premises and concerns raised against an application. I now invite the subcommittee to determine the application, giving due consideration to the application and all submissions, both verbal and written, and decide which of the actions available to you would be appropriate to take in relation to this application. As is usually the case for hearings, I would ask that the reasons for your decision be given as part of the determination.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions from councillors for clarification on the report that you've just heard? Okay, thank you. I just want to just clarify a couple of things, is that okay? Just one, that you have obviously visited the applicant and asked if there was any ability, any availability to be able to come to an agreement. Also, that the agreement was the mattresses and other items wrapped and price tagged. I think that was in the report. The trading hours 9 till 8. Is that right? I just want to confirm these. Yeah. 8 p.m.
So for clarity, the applied trading hours, they are listed in the report. I'm just looking them up. We've got 9 a.m. Yes, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Sunday. Outside of the hours, so outside of these hours, the pavement must be kept clear and empty. The licence would only allow goods to be put outside during those times. I did visit the premises. I spoke to Mr. Nassar. Unfortunately, he's not here today, but he is named on the application as the assistant for the premises. Mohammed Nassar. Nasser Mohammed, sorry. Nasser Mohammed. I did speak to him, and he kindly showed me around the goods that were on display because there were questions over the goods and their appearance, and I wanted to check for myself. That's resulted in the photographs of the commodities, which are also found in the report Appendix 6. So that shows the state and the display of the goods, and I was advised by Mr. Mohammed that these would be a good representation of the goods that they would be put outside because they are stocked normally in the shop.
Lovely, thank you for the clarification. And it's 6 months temporary licence, 2 metres.
Correct. So the application is asking for 2 metres. Because this is a temporary licence, it can be granted for as short as 1 day and as long as 6 months. Obviously, should the committee decide that 6 months is appropriate, then that's the maximum you can grant. If you decide that it would actually be more appropriate to have a lesser time period, then you have got the power to come to that decision as long as reasons are given for the determination.
Thank you for clarifying and confirming. Much appreciated. We're now over to the applicant, so welcome. Thank you for joining us, and if you can put your case forward, please.
Thanks for having me today. So, like I said, I'm Mohammed Mudassar-Naziri. I'm the applicant/license holder. I'm a law graduate who did practice for a bit, but then with the help of friends and families, I managed to get some money and open this business. So it was quite difficult at the beginning, but we managed to get the lease and start displaying the stock. And then we wish to, the area is very quiet, as if you guys have visited the Ricelip Manor, it's not very busy. So businesses, we've been there for about 4 months, it's very difficult. We're just about paying the rents and the rates and the utility bills from our own pockets, essentially. And so I thought to apply for a shop, the front display, to display some of my goods so it can attract more customers, hoping that it will benefit the business. However, we, like Mr. Austin Young clarified, there were some objections, but there were no mandatory grounds for refusal. And the main objection was that the mattresses which I will display, they're going to look like fly-tip mattresses. However, all those mattresses come pre-wrapped. They will be price tagged and placed in an orderly manner, which will be much different to those fly-tipped. And the second ground, the second objection was there was a picture posted on page 49 where we have like an alleyway at the back of the property which we have no access to, and that picture was sent by one of the local residents who's present here with us to the councillor as to raise the problem of fly tipping in the area. And that picture was used without his permission against myself, which does not relate to me at all. And that picture, if you guys can turn to page 49, you can see there's a lot of stuff which we do not sell. And even if we did, we have no access to the rare property. And the mattresses we display will be, there's only going to be like 2 or 3 mattresses displayed in an orderly manner just to attract some customers, as we mainly sell furniture. So I was quite disappointed. Times have been difficult. I'm quite young myself, and I thought I'd start a business venture, but it has not been a great start at all. So I'm pretty much at the point where I'm tempted to just sell the business at a loss. But yeah, that's all I've got to say. I'm pretty disappointed. There was no mandatory grounds for refusal. And just a last point, there was a couple members, a couple residents of the local area that did approach me, and they've seen the application online, and they were also quite upset as to why such grounds have been raised for where there are no mandatory reasons given. Thank you.
No, thank you, and thank you for your report. Thank you for sharing that with us. I can see, you're quite emotional about the shop and your business, and we certainly take that on board, so thank you. Can I just clarify a couple of things said in the report? You said about 2 or 3 mattresses will be displayed, was that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We're just going to have a sample, like 2 or 3 samples of mattresses to show people that we sell them. So there's not going to be a heap of dumped mattresses just placed on the pavement. They're going to be price tagged and it's placed in a very orderly manner, which will differ from fly tip mattresses, which we all know what a fly tip mattress looks like compared to a brand new one.
And can I just confirm, sorry, it's just before we go into the discussion, can I just confirm the size of the mattresses that you are looking to display?
The mattress that we will display on the pavement will be a single size mattress, which is 90 centimeters by 190.
Thank you. And can I just confirm that the other items, can you just confirm to me what they will be, that will be displayed?
The other items will consist of coat stands, which will be wrapped, chest of drawers, which is, this is just samples, so one of each items, and some doormats. Yeah, that's about it.
Thank you. Just one final thing, sorry, and then we move on. So one final thing. Can you just confirm if you have or completed a layout plan for the items at all?
I have completed the layout plan, which I did email to Mr. Young, and which I did upload with the application.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Do our councillors have any questions? Councillor Barry Nelson-West.
Yeah, you've got one member of staff there with you at all times, is it?
Yeah, I've got one member of staff who couldn't make it today. But yeah, there will be one assistant.
Yeah, I was just wondering about the watching people outside, maybe defacing the objects or doing something to them. So you're quite happy that they can be looked at after and not be vandalised at all while out front?
Thank you.
No, they will not be vandalised or anything. They'll be all pre-wrapped, and yeah, there will be someone present at all times who will ensure that at the time we stated at 8 o'clock, everything will be back inside the shop, which is the time we do close. Nothing will be left on the pavement at all.
And just confirm, I think it was 2 metres, and the pavement, I believe, is 6 metres wide. Is that right, I think? Yeah, that's correct. The pavement is 6 metres, one of the widest part of the street, 6 metres, and we only want a 2 metre space to display our goods. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. We've also got representation, obviously they aren't here today, but from our street scene officers. Would you like to read that out for us, please, Liz?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Yes, so we have received a representation from the street scene enforcement team, who, as you said, Chair, haven't been able to attend today, unfortunately. And this is what they wanted Democratic Services to read out for them on their behalf. So SSET, that's the street scene enforcement team, have no objections as long as the items are pre-wrapped, have labels or signs which show they belong to the business, including a price tag, and are not causing an obstruction to the highway, i.e. items are within the agreed boundary. And they've gone on to say that they understand there is an issue with fly tipping, however, refusing the application on this basis is not justified. The business is selling items and there is no evidence to suggest that they are fly tipping. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just to confirm, we have no residents wishing to speak. And we will go on to Councillor Susan O'Brien. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman Person, for allowing me to attend this committee this morning. And Mr Naziri, this isn't personal about you. This is regarding our what Victoria Road looks like. So as you know, the issues that I have raised are in the pack. And for me, being a resident for over 2 decades, Victoria Road Shopping Parade, as far as I'm concerned, may not be a busy parade for people who want to purchase mattresses, but it is a busy parade. We have a decent amount of shops and a high number of shops in comparison to other secondary high streets within Hillingdon. So the existing traders selling the same goods within the wider shopping district, they have no need to display mattresses on the highway. There are 2 other property business holders that do that. So I personally feel that this is detrimental to the appearance of the business district, in that granted public space licences are used generally on Ruislip Manor High Street, either for cafes or for, and they have been listed within the on page 6 of the report, a fruit and veg stall, price-wise, which is small household goods, whereby in olden days would have been probably like an ironmonger's as such. Budgeons displays their shopping trolleys in probably about a metre's depth, and flowers. Vicks is again the off licence, doesn't have that sort of thing, and then HGB Goldwing and HGB Motorcycles, they do have a street licence for their motorcycles which are on the parade, but it's not on the main shopping parade. The premises that we're talking about is bang in the middle of Ruislip Manor High Street. So the introduction of such bulky household items will contribute, I believe, and residents, and I know that Mr. Naziri has mentioned that he has spoken to people and residents, and so have I, and I've spoken to a number of businesses, as well as the Chamber of Commerce, and as well as residents. The idea of putting mattresses onto Victoria Road in the centre, and what the paperwork that the images that have been put into the pack, and I didn't get the opportunity, apart from the one that came, you're quite right, without permission from one of my residents, whom came second hand, not from that resident, from someone else, otherwise I would have asked permission. It's a huge length of road that has nothing in it, and we're now going to have mattresses on the pavement. So the introduction of such bulky household items, as far as I'm concerned, will contribute possibly to nuisance, and obviously the improper disposal of bulky household items. We have a number of flatted developments on the high street. Every shop above it has flats, and some actually have flats not just above but also behind the high street. So there's quite a high concentration of people that live there, and especially, and the picture is in the pack, we have this one space where I fully appreciate that Mr. Naziri doesn't have access to the back of the pavement, but to the back of the service road. However, many other people do, and the issue is not necessarily with regards to the service road, which is a civil private road. The issue is to what goes on our front of our streets with regards to fly tipping. So within this, it says that this is a valid application, and I will be today demonstrating from point 10.5 the discretionary grounds for refusal, which is on page 26, whereby there are enough street traders in the area offering the same or similar of those of the applicant. So as I said, we have two other large businesses that don't put any mattresses out on Victoria Road. Admittedly, they are a little bit further up, and they're certainly not in the centre of the high street. So we have two other further dedicated businesses that sell mattresses that have no need to do that. On page 27, 10.7, to have regard to the other following factors. Point A, public safety. Well, I wouldn't want to have a single mattress fall on me if I was a resident. So how are they going to be anchoring those mattresses up on a 2 metre where there's a very wide space whereby they could possibly be blown over? So I would want that to be taken into consideration if we do end up with mattresses on our high street today. Prevention of public nuisance and environmental damage. This is where we'll come back to this again. The possibility of people seeing mattresses and large items like that being on the street during the day. And now, again, if the gentleman's business is staying open till 8 o'clock, we've got dark nights coming along now. So what happens there if somebody wants to just drop something off? We had a huge spate of issues with fly tipping on the main high street with some of the charity shops a few years ago. Hillingdon Hospice used one of their shops as a furniture space, and there was loads of stuff that was put out on there. So people don't always have the regard of everybody else. And I'm not saying that this is in principle about Mr. Naziri and his business. It's the perception is what the issue is for me today. The appearance of the trading area. Well, I've taken images of that space, which is not on here. The change to the street scene of having mattresses in the centre of the high street, the aesthetic look, and also as you mentioned in it, that the parade is in itself, the depth of the pavement is quite wide. So yes, people can get past, but it's what they're looking at. So when you come from the corner of Linden and Shenley, you look down a whole parade where there's nothing there. There might sometimes be somebody putting stuff in and out, which if the applicant doesn't have access to the back, he will have to use the front door to put his goods in and out. no objection to that for access and egress. But then the next option is small household goods on the street and a veg shop. The street scene will change, and if he's talking about 2 metres, it's 8 foot. Well, no, it's not. It's 7 foot. So that's a big street change for me. And the needs of the area. How many people need to purchase mattresses that are on a street? There are 2 other mattress shops. I've told you that already. They do not sell their wares on the pavement. Where is the demand for this in Ruislip Manor? The gentleman has already mentioned that he is struggling. So the opportunity will be by putting mattresses on the street. Is that going to increase his footfall? He's also today mentioned that there aren't very many people that walk up and down the high street, which I don't necessarily agree with. The business has stated that they've not had much customer demand, and he has said that today very openly. And I'm sorry about that, because I don't want to have anything to do with businesses not being able to do their job and to earn their money and to make a living. But this is not the right street, and this is where my objection arises from. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bryan, for a very comprehensive report there. And just to clarify, there are several issues, obviously, on the discretionary grounds that you're making a point on. One is public safety, prevention of public nuisance, appearance of trading, and the need of the area. And all those are applicable in the case that we are deciding today. So thank you very much. Councillor Barry Nelson-West, do you have any questions for Councillor O'Brien?
Yes, if I remember, Dreams is one of the other furniture shops, I believe. Dreams?
Correct, Dreams and Bedtime.
Yeah, and I know Dreams got big plate glass windows, from what I recall. I have shopped there many years ago, from what I recall. So I don't think that they need to actually put stuff on the pavement, because their wares can be seen quite easily displayed. So I think, that's the point I need to make across on that.
Okay, not a problem. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for putting forward your messages regarding this. We now come into a period of discussion, so it's an open discussion to see how we can continue to resolve some of the issues and actually, just seeing what we can come together with. Councillor Barry Nelson-West, did you have any questions that you would like to submit forward?
Yes, to Austin, no other interested parties that made complaints at all, as far as you know?
Correct. No other comments received apart from Councillor O'Brien and Street Scene Enforcement Team.
Yeah, I was just wondering, any petitions, nothing at all. That's what I'm looking at. People who are against objection, that's one way to go besides MEs and stuff like that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't think we've had any petitions, have we?
Yeah, so sorry if I wasn't clear. No, I only received comments from Councillor O'Brien and Street Scene Enforcement Team. No petitions, no comments, no emails from residents, no petitions, nothing else.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a few questions. One for the applicant, just really a responding question to the mattresses. As Councillor O'Brien said, we do have 2 shops already in the area that sell mattresses and bedwear. And I have visited your shop as well. I did come down yesterday, I think it was yesterday, and had a look and visited the premises. Can you explain why particularly the mattresses would be beneficial outside when other shops in the area that have mattresses are not placing them outside?
The councillor mentioned that there were 2 other furniture retailers in the area, that is Dreams and Bedtime, and I did go and visit the pavements, and I saw they do not have enough pavement to display anything, and I'm sure if they did, they would. And if they didn't, that's because they're pretty much established. They've been there for many, many years, and they've got and their franchises. And I'm applying for a temporary shopfront application. This will not be there for permanent. Maybe in 6 months, if I'm established enough, I would not need to put anything outside. And in terms of your question, Councillor Becky, we sell the majority of our stuff that we do sell is beds and mattresses. So to display a mattress, I'm sure it's going to help people come inside, because from the outside the shop has a very small windows, so it's very difficult for people, passers-by, to see, and the people that drive by, it will make it more obvious to them. And like Councillor Barry stated, Dreams do have they have very large windows, which and they don't really need to display anything. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you. A couple of other concerns for me are really around, which we have covered, Councillor O'Brien covered them, but public safety and public nuisance. I am concerned that I haven't, in the pack, you might have well supplied it, but in the pack I haven't seen a information plan on how you're going to put your goods out, and where the mattress is. I mean, mattresses are incredibly heavy. If they were to blow over, they could obviously cause harm and injury. Could you just explain how you would set the layout, and also if you have any ideas on how you're going to secure the items? Some of these items that we see in the pack are exactly like you say, like a coat stand. That can cause really serious injury if it does fall on someone. My concern is around, we don't actually have that in the street scene at the moment, of any of those larger items out on display. So how can I be confident, or how can the team be confident that you're going to be securing those? Thank you.
I did not mention anywhere at all in the application that I will be standing the mattresses against the window, so that they will not fall over. They will be placed on a single divan box base, and they'll be placed down, so there's no way that the wind can blow it over. And the mattresses, they are single foam mattress, which are not heavy at all. They probably weigh in about maximum 7-8 kilos. And the other items, which are coat stand, they have a base which is quite firm, so there's no way that's going to fall over either. And I'm not going to use the maximum of 2 meters. We applied for a 2 meter space. That does not mean we're going to use every centimeter of that space. And secondly, in regards to the appearance of the area, the other stores, which is price-wise, they display plastic brooms, plastic mops, plastic brushes, which does not make the area look nice at all anyway. And rice slip carpets, which have been trading for 36 years, they put stuff outside which are not wrapped, not priced, and they do not have a street license for 36 years. Have the councillor not seen the other shops? Has she not visited or seen that in the last 2 decades?
Thank you, but today we are just here about your case, so not other cases, so I just want to make that clear. I did ask the question how you're going to secure these items down.
So the mattress will be placed on the van box. First of all, it will not move from there, and secondly, to secure it, we can use like a rope to tie it with the base. There's no way it's going to move, even if there's winds of up to 50-60 miles, which is not very common to happen.
Thank you. So just to be clear, just so I can be clear, it's Friday. I just want to make sure I'm clear. So the mattress will be on a divan box, is that what you're saying? And the other items, such as the coat, the coat hanger, etc., that will be secured by rope. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Like stated in the plan, the mattress will be placed on a divan box, which will be tied to a rope, and the other items, they will not be. There's no way that they can fall over. They will be placed on the pavement itself.
Thank you very much for clarifying that. And can you just confirm how long you've been in business for, please?
We've been in business since August, late August. So been like 4 months, I believe. Yeah, hasn't been too long.
Great, thank you. And can you just confirm if you've had experience in the shop retail business and have had, shops such as these and placed items outside elsewhere?
Yeah, we've previously owned another business for about 15 years, which we sold the same items, and we used to place the items on the pavement in a similar manner. So yeah, I have a lot of experience in furniture.
Okay, and finally, sorry, I know there are a lot of questions. Finally, would you be able to think about not putting the mattresses out? Could we come to some agreement whereby other goods are out but not the mattresses? I know this has been a discussion, obviously, with officers when officers visited. But now we're at the hearing. You have an opportunity to, obviously say whether you would either put a reduced. I hear today you said it will be 2 or 3 mattresses, they'll be single. What I'm asking really is, would you be prepared not to put the mattresses out?
Yeah, like I stated earlier, majority of our business comes through the mattresses and beds, so we really need to display the mattress for it to show what we sell inside. And secondly, I can come to like an agreement to decrease the hours.
And what would the decrease in hours look like?
Like the councillor mentioned, it does get a bit late early nowadays, so I can extend it to 6 o'clock from 9 to 6.
Sorry, I was just discussing with legal. Can you just say that again?
I am willing to change the hours from 9 in the morning to 6 in the evening to display the items outside.
Are you willing to change it from 2 metres to 1 metre? I heard that you were saying that you won't be using, obviously, all the 2 metre space. It's a temporary licence, so would you be prepared to go down to 1 metre as per the rest of the shops? As Councillor O'Brien said, when we looked at the shops that were along here, they were 1 metre, and it was only the cafes that were actually 2 metres, and the motorbike shop.
I'm not here to, talk about the business again, but the other businesses do have more than 1 metre. They stated 1, which I checked through the file. Well, if we go and measure it, they've put stuff for more than 1 metre. And no, I need the space for 2 metres, up to 2 metres.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Barry Nelson-West, do you have any further questions?
None at the moment, no. Thank you.
We just want to be clear, just before we go into a discussion. We did ask if you would decrease the mattresses. Would you decrease them? So you said you wouldn't get rid of them, so you want to display the mattresses. You said in your statement that it would be 2 or 3 mattresses. Would you be able to decrease them to 1 mattress?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm willing to decrease it to 1 mattress just for a sample, so it does not look like any fly-tipped mattresses.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much for that. Are there any further questions? No? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Sorry,
thank
Councillor
you.
Hagger, could I just say, and I would agree with Mr Naziri, I think price-wise are about 2 metres because they have the canopy that goes over. So not all of them, so I would like to clarify that for him as well to support that.
Thank you very much. That's much appreciated. Thank you. Okay, we will now be moving into deliberations, and the subcommittee will now adjourn and move into private deliberations on the application prior to announcing, closing remarks. I thought we'd gone through so quickly there. So we do go for closing remarks. So yes, from licensing.
Thank you, Chair. So it's more of a question. Obviously, it's a question for Mr Naziri. I'm aware that sticking to obviously 1 metre, 2 metre is fantastic because they're nice round numbers. But it is possible that we could go for 1.5, for example. Obviously, that's still a relatively nice round number, but not that nice as 1 or 2. I was just wondering if I could. It might be useful to get Mr Naziri's thoughts on going to 1.5 instead of reducing down to 1.
Yeah, that's fine. We can even do 1.5 metre. Yeah, because at this stage, I've been disappointed for over the last month, and I really don't mind anything at the moment because I'm just trying to save the business from closing down. And in the area, a lot of businesses do open and close, so there's a high turnout of closure.
So I think, So bearing in mind the comments about the plan, yes, a plan was submitted with the application. It doesn't show layout of any particular goods. It just shows extending from, the area extending 2 metres from the shop front. But I think what might be worth mentioning, if I just read this out, so on your plan you've got your front glass either side of your door, you've measured out at 1.85 metres. So if there was a mattress lying 1.85 metres along the glass, obviously leaving the door free because you can't have anything in front of the door, and then extending out 1.5, that would still give you enough room to get your divan beds out and your mattress?
The size of a single mattress is 190, so I think that's going to be a bit of an issue now, as the glass is 185. So you might have to put it long ways, which is within the 2 metre.
So is that when you said you're applying for 2 metres, but we wouldn't need the full 2 metres, because if you laid it out lengthways, it would be just shy of 2 metres, but not as much to...
Lovely, I think we've made a note of that, haven't we? Okay, so we now go to closing remarks. We go reverse order. So, Councillor O'Brien, do you have any further closing remarks, anything you'd like to say?
I suppose what I would just like to say is we've now gone through the discussion of the dynamics of the space outside. I do still have concern. As I said, this is not personal to Mr. Naziri, and I do wish his business as well as, you know, as it can be. So now what we're looking at is a bed long ways from the shop window, which although they're not being stacked up now. But still, a bed on a divan, long ways, in the middle of a parade. That's my consideration.
Thank you, Councillor O'Brien. The applicant?
We're going to have to put it out long ways because there's not going to be enough room to put it sideways. So it'll be outwards, which is 1 metre 90, just shy of 2 metres.
Do you have any closing remarks? So this is a time where you can sort of wrap everything up. You can say what we've spoken about, anything that you want to put forward that you think we should consider, any reasons as well for consideration. So this is your chance really to say to us, look, you know, I will be adhering to the public safety, the outlook, and this is how I'm going to do it, and these are the changes that I've made since since your first speech, this is your second one. So it's a chance to really address all those concerns and bring it more, you know, together. Thank you.
Yeah, so to wrap up, I am willing to decrease the hours from 9 to 6, Monday to Sunday. And I'm willing to decrease the mattresses from 2 or 3 to 1, just for a sample. And I do hope this is all considered. Like I said, it was my first time joining this business venture, and I do hope it went a bit well, but it hasn't been great so far. I've been paying the public liability insurance since August, I believe, or September. So I've been paying that, but I haven't had the chance to use any of that. And I do hope that you guys consider all these points, because if I don't get this, if I'm not granted the license, then I'm going to have to look into other options, either selling the business or changing the business, because we haven't been doing that well recently.
Thank you very much. And officers.
Yes, just a few, just because questions have been raised. Coming back to Councillor Nelson West's comments earlier about the length of the payment. The length of the payment is mentioned in the report, and yes, our planning software does say that it's 6 metres pavement coming up on that stretch of Victoria Road. So it's one of the wider bits of Victoria Road. With regards to the idea of securing, I did want to mention any method of securing the goods obviously would need to be temporary, because there wouldn't be a permanent way of securing them, because that would involve changing the highway or drilling into the highway, and that's obviously not going to be something that the highways team are going to be very happy with. So any method of securing by rope or laying goods down obviously doesn't then impact, or as long as it doesn't risk damaging the highway, then that would be acceptable.
Thank you. So is that your closing remarks? Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. We will now go into deliberation. So we will remain in the room. If everyone else can leave the room, please, that would be good. And we will call you back in when we've decided. Thank you very much.